and he does know. He was a commentator for a while, huge fan. With me to my immediate left, with us to our immediate left, is Hall of Famer Joe Namath. Joe, welcome back to the couch.
Thank you, Ryan. Good to see all of you again.
So I think your league's in somewhat of a crisis. I mean, you have a CTE situation, which we'll talk about, and you also have a situation of national patriotism, which started out as a representative of racial injustice in this country. Do you think this is a crisis time for the NFL?
I'm not sure it's a crisis time. I don't think the sport's ever going to go away. I think there's been somewhat of disappointment with a lot of folks on how our country's been looked at, how our flag has been treated with respect. But going back to what Colin Kaepernick initially did, it was to point out some injustice that's being done to the black race, or to people that obviously, when you look, and I say obviously, some of these dash cams and shootings that were done to unarmed people and all, he was reaching out to try and get it more investigated. So that's where this oppression thing comes in. But I don't understand the NFL owners. I mean, here we're working. If somebody walks across here with a sign right now protesting, excuse me, you're going to let them do that?
Nope.
No. Well, initially, when this took place, that's the NFL ownership. They own that theater at the time. They own that stage. Are you going to allow protests out there? They don't allow players to wear different signs on their shoes. They don't allow
has
players
to stand for the national anthem.
You know what? That's because they've been told to. But no one told Colin Kaepernick prior to that they had to. We just assumed it was the right thing to do. It's always been the right thing to do, to live in this country. Thank the good Lord.
And that is essentially what President Trump was channeling a couple of weeks ago when he was out at that rally and was talking about, if these guys don't stand. Jerry Jones said over the weekend that if you're going to play for the Dallas Cowboys, you've got to stand or you're not going to play. Even
taking the knee. Eric Reed, the player with the 49ers, says, a sign of respect. Taking a knee. When you meet the Pope, you meet the Queen or somebody, it's out of submission to an extent, out of respect. That's how they started taking the knee. It was done out of some respect for the flag, but you know what? We need more respect for the flag.
So you think the NFL should step up, the commissioner should step up and say, this is it, tell the union, get together with the union, and say, stand, how do you get out of this, Joe?
We have a right. This is America, liberty, a lot of freedoms. Ownership has ownership. Again, if somebody starts walking through here carrying a sign, what are the powers that be at Fox going to say to you? Excuse me, go do that somewhere else. Don't do it in the workplace.
What about you personally? What if your whole team took a knee before the national anthem? Would you participate? And what if they did it during the national anthem? What would
I'm not there, but I've never walked in a black man's shoes either. And I don't know. Over the years, man, when you look around, hey, some of the things you see that have been done, are they fair? Life's not fair. Children are born with handicaps. Life's not fair. But if we can get some things straightened out, we need to work on it.
Well, it certainly has started a national dialogue. I mean, all the way from the president on down to Broadway Joe talking about it. And you're talking from your heart because you would like to see something done.
It's a national dialogue now more on the flag, on our national patriotism. But the oppression or the unjust treatment of others has fallen in the background here. We haven't heard that part.
So you disagree with Mike Ditka because he said there hasn't been oppression in the last 100 years.
Well, look up the meaning of oppression. Look up the definition of oppression, and you understand that it's obviously taken place.
Right. All right, Joe, there's another thing. If you look at the NFL, kids are playing less football, and a lot of parents of football players, because of the head injury situation, are saying, I don't want my kid doing that. Even former quarterbacks are saying that. So what do you say to, are you concerned about the game? Because I know one of the reasons you're here, not only to meet Ainsley, but also is one of the reasons you're here is about head injuries in football.
Yes, I've I'm a part of a neurological research, Joe Namath Neurological Research Center for Traumatic Brain Injuries. We're helping people with traumatic brain injuries down in Jupiter, Florida at the Jupiter Medical Center get treatment. I experienced the treatment between 2012 and 13 where I had the left side of my brain, many of the cells weren't getting a blood flow.
Wow.
They were dark. They weren't functioning. I went through 120 oxygen treatments, hyperbaric dives. They gradually came back, and as of March, I had another brain scan, and the brain is beautiful. It's functioning. I've seen people go through our study at the Jupiter Medical Center that couldn't lift an arm, couldn't talk, communicate with their parents. They're out in the workforce now. To see these people actually get better is such a joy.
Were you hit a lot on the left side?
The back side, the left side, the right side. If you play that sport, and we're talking about do we want our children to play that sport too. The sport's not going to go away. It's a great sport. We're always going to want to watch it. I love to watch it. It's tough, man. It's good. It's violent. And it has that sex appeal with those tight pants that those guys wear out there and all that kind of stuff. So it's not going away.
Right, and that's the tight pants is one of the things that I think is really a no-brainer. But in the big picture, do you feel as though that is the pathway to people in their 50s and 60s who played this sport that might be failing? I mean, Nick Bonacani was through here. He's having problems.
Brian, it's not just about football players or sports. Kids fall off bicycles every day. People fall down and trip. People, the military guys coming back from war. It happens to everyday people. Over 2 million are walking around out there now, can't get treatment for traumatic brain injuries because they're not recognized by the insurance industry or anyone. And that's why we're doing the study for the FDA.
All right, so tell us how to support what you're doing. You're here for a fundraiser.
Just go to NamathNeuroCenter.com and they'll give you all the, yes, we're here for the fundraiser tonight. We've been here in New York again, and the folks have stood up and helped us out big time. We need to raise some money to put these people through the study. 100 studies we need to get done.
Well, that sounds like great work. Very promising. Joe, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
It's a pleasure to have you on
Thank
the
you.
cast.
How's the arm?
Man, it's not as good as it used to be.
All right, Joe Namath, great to see you.